Hey guys, you've probably heard Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, along with 200 million other people who've heard that tune on YouTube. So today we're going to use a few drum samples to recreate the beat from that tune, and then in the next video we're going to use a free synth plugin in Reaper to recreate the melodic parts of that tune. So let's dive in now and create that beat. Okay guys, so I've already named my project, saved it as Blinding Lights. I'm going to insert 4 drum elements: a bass drum, a snare, a clap, and a closed hi-hat. I bring them in on separate tracks, and I'm just going to put it in the order I mentioned before, with kick drum, bass drum, snare drum, and the hat can go last. Try not to put it in a folder like I just did. Take note of where that blue line is, and sometimes you get trapped in a little folder. There we go. We've got those 4 drum elements. Let's start by changing our grid sensitivity. So we're going to change it to 1/8 notes because we do require some offbeat action with some of our elements. So we're going to make use of the hotkey, Control-C, to copy that, and just zip over to those locations, beats 1 and beat 3, then head over to 2.3.5, and that's where you get your double kick. Cool. Next is the snare. Snares, as per most music, occur on 2 and 4. I can hold Control and drag that to make a copy. The claps themselves don't happen until bar 4. So let's just sort of drag over towards bar 4. The first clap happens on the end of 3, 4.3.5, and the next one, holding Control to copy it, to 4.4.5. Now we're actually going to use our right mouse button to draw a box around those that first 2 bars, and make sure I select track 1 here, otherwise check this out, it would paste it on the wrong tracks. So again, clicking on 3.1, then clicking on track 1 and Control V. Alright, let's mute the hi-hat and see what we've got. Alright, now notice we have a bit of clipping there. We're going to address that later. So for now, let's just ignore it, even though I feel a bit triggered by seeing a peak meter. We are going to talk about that and discuss what digital clipping is. Let's now do the hi-hat, even though in Blinding Lights you don't hear much hi-hat until the verse happens. So let's copy the hi-hat and place it every single 1/8 note. So I'm just clicking each time and hitting paste. I'll then draw a right mouse button box around them and copy for the other couple of bars of music. Let's unmute the hi-hat. All right, and turn it down a bit because the hi-hat should not be that loud. So let's now discuss this clipping. What is digital clipping? So in the digital realm, 0 decibels full scale is the maximum possible signal without distortion. When the signal does reach over 0, the top of it gets chopped off and it makes it into this harsh square shape that you can see on the graph here. When you play it back, you can get those squared off shapes at maximum volume, and that's going to give you an ugly distorted noise that isn't really as cool as analog distortion. So although distortion can be cool, let's achieve it in different ways rather than reaching the maximum of 0 decibels full scale. So whenever you see those peak indicators, you see that went over by 4 decibels. We're going to turn our drums down by a total of 4 decibels. So let's actually put them in a folder. I've just made a new track. I'm going to select those 4 tracks and just see how the blue line there is changing. If the line moves in, now they're actually inside this folder, which is quite handy. So let's actually turn our volume down, about -4. Beautiful. All right, now it's sounding a bit dry. Let's consider some reverb on the snare and the clap. So I'm going to come into the effects area on the snare drum, and I've typed in verb. I'm going to put in the reverb plugin. I'm going to add in an echo generator, and let's just hear what that sounds like straight off the bat. Now, let's bypass it. Hear how short that is? sounds cool with that sort of fat echo to it. Great, so let's leave that in and let's copy that effect across to the clap as well and unsolo. Awesome, starting to sound a bit more like Blinding Lights. Now let's actually add some compression to the whole drum folder. So we're going to load up a compressor. Let's type in comp, bring in the rear comp compressor, and let's just start with a preset. Let's try this modern rock snare, or in fact the rock snare, aiming for 4 decibels of gain reduction is their advice. And you'll see that's pretty much the amount of gain reduction we were getting, around 4 decibels. So it's not hugely noticeable on the little speakers I'm listening to, but that is just tightening up the sound. Okay, so we'll leave that compressor there. Let's also throw in a little bit of intentional distortion. So we're going to load up this wave shaping distortion. Let's type in dist for distortion. Bring in the wave shaping distortion on all the drums. And I'm actually going to change the percentage. Let's have a listen. Sounds right to me. So I went a bit overboard just so you could hear the effect, but I think around 30 is giving just a hint of distortion that sounds pretty cool. So at this point, guys, I think we're ready to finish this video off. And in the next video, we're going to install the free plugin, Tal Noisemaker, and we're going to look at how to do the bass part, the lead part, and the chords from Blinding Lights. So if you've got any questions, or if you've got any song requests you want to learn how to do with free samples and free synths, please do hit me up in the comments section. If there's any bits you didn't quite understand, let me know and I'll get back to you. Thanks, guys.